Welcome to Distracted the Podcast with Angela Lockwood, the place where you will find practical brain-boosting strategies, expert insights, and real-life stories to help busy brains thrive in the age of distraction. Let's go. Welcome to Distracted the Podcast. This is my very first episode of the next installment of my podcast journey. For those of you that have been following along for some time now, you would have been listening to a Kids Life podcast. Now, a Kids Life podcast drew on all of my experience and skills of working with experts in the field of children's wellbeing, where we explored topics around things like inclusion in schools, helping kids with their own focus, helping kids who are busy themselves, little busy bodies, helping them to self-regulate, or it was strategies around how you can help your children manage the world of devices and technology. There was a whole range of really fantastic interviews and stories and content, all helping us adults better understand the lives of kids. And through doing this, what I came to learn was that us adults who were supporting them were struggling just as much with trying to find out how we can better focus on the things that really matter to us. And what I've been seeing, particularly over the last 2 years, and you may have noticed this yourself, is there's a sharp increase in adult onset or adult diagnosed attention deficit disorders. I'm also seeing a lot more increases in reportings of anxiety and depression, and a lot of different conditions and diagnosis that are directly linked to feelings of being overwhelmed, not being able to keep up, feeling pulled in lots of directions, fearful about all the many things we have to do in our lives. And what I found when I was working with both children and adults, a lot of the content that I was talking about was exactly the same. How do we calm our thinking? How do we focus and learn better on the things that we need to? How do we start a task when we're feeling overwhelmed before even taking the first step? How do we focus on our goals? How do we make really simple decisions in our lives that can help move us forward in the direction that we choose? And these are all topics that I've also explored in my books, Power of Conscious Choice and Switch Off and Find Calm. And so I kept getting pulled, ironically, into the direction that I was already in. And so Distracted for me is the next iteration of the journey of my own exploration of exploring how we can use our brains better, how we can understand our brains better, and how we can maximize their potential and maximize the capabilities that it has when we're still feeling pulled in so many different directions in our lives. So Distracted, you will, for those of you that have been following, you'll know that everything for me has to be evidence-based. I draw on experts in the field of different areas so that my listeners can get maximum value out of what we talk about. There'll be so many things that you'll listen to and you'll be like, this really applies for someone, that I love and care for. It might be a partner. Or there might be an episode where you're thinking, well, actually, this is really important for me. I need to almost listen to this again and write notes. Or you might even be here because you have a child that is struggling with concentrating at school or learning in the way that you know that their busy brain can or needs to be in, and hopefully you'll find that here on Distracted. But one thing you will definitely find on here is honest, raw conversations with people. I'll ask the hard questions. I'll ask the questions that I know that I get asked all the time as well. And sometimes I can answer them with confidence, but other times I can't. So I go to the experts that can. And so I hope you're going to love Distracted. And it's interesting, Distracted's been coming for a little while because I too have been wanting to make sure that what we're going to be talking about and exploring in this, age of distraction, it's moving so fast all the time. And what I wanted to do is make sure that what we're covering here is a direct response to what people are asking, what people are searching for, and that the strategies that we talk about people can apply immediately into their own lives in a really simple way without adding to the overwhelm. And if you've been listening to my podcast, reading my books, or online in all the many places that I turn up on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, you will know that I have my own story with distraction, and it started when I was actually younger than what you maybe think, because a lot of people are familiar with my story of sustaining a head injury when I was 17. I was hit in the temple with a hockey ball, and as a result, I was told that the likelihood of me being able to speak again was very low. And if you listen to the podcasts previously, you'll know that speaking is not an issue for me at all. But what is an issue is that my brain gets extremely tired. I get headaches still. If I'm going to get a headache, it's going to be where I got hit. That my brain fatigues in a way that really just stops me in my tracks, and I have to implement things in my own life that really it's about practicing what I preach and making sure that the strategies I'm sharing with you are ones that I have used or that I know other people have used with success. But before my injury at 17, I was a very busy-brained child. I was into everything. I was I did a school magazine, wrote a school magazine, published it, sold it in year 6, and I was in hockey teams. In fact, one year I was in 9 different hockey teams. 9 different hockey teams in one year. I ran for things at school, and I was going in every competition. I was Lions Youth of the Year. I was Miss Showgirl. Yes, that's a whole other story. But I was always wanting to make the most out of life. And it was interesting looking back as an adult. I think, was I distracted, or was I wanting to get the most out of my childhood? Was I wanting to have a go at things? Was I interested in things? Was I curious? And this really has been a lifelong learning for me as a kid to now as an adult to a professional who's supporting other people, is I'm really wanting to learn more around different diagnosis and being an occupational therapist. That's definitely in my wheelhouse, but wanting to make sure that there's educated conversations around how we can help our brain be the best that it can. How can we support people who find concentrating, paying attention, using their body in a way that is societally, is that a word appropriate? But making sure that people can be who they are and they can thrive in all the wonderful, beautiful ways that they are and they can be. So for me, even as a child, having struggled a little bit with my own speed of thinking and wanting to do everything right here, right now. I can remember my dad, even in my wedding speech, he stood up and he said, "If you can't keep up with Ange, good luck, because you'll get left behind." And I remember the room was slightly uncomfortable. Everyone sort of did that nervous giggle where they're like, is that a good thing or not? But for people that know me, they knew that it's always been go, go, go. And the difference with go, go, go 100% of the time is that it doesn't allow your body and your brain time to rest and rejuvenate. And I had to learn that many times throughout my adult life, particularly around the time of my head injury, that I really had to understand what it meant to rest, what it meant not to push through, places where your brain really struggled, because then what would happen is I would be in bed for a couple of days afterwards. Or, as I was going through university, I had to adapt to different ways of learning that allowed me to not just be taking it in through listening, but I also had to write. I also had to move. I had to be multisensory in my learning. And that got me through university to be able to become an occupational therapist. So all of these different strategies that I'm talking about, you might go, yeah, I do that as well. I have systems on systems to help me stay focused, but sometimes the systems can distract me in itself. So, I'm here with you if you are on the podcast and you're listening for the very first time. Please know that I get it. It's tricky, but I don't have a diagnosed attention deficit. I don't have a diagnosis of any sort that is to do with my, thinking, with the way that my brain works. However, I do share the struggles with living in a very fast-paced world where it's really hard to keep up, and particularly when we've got so much living to do, we've got so much we want to do and we want to be involved and we want to participate. How do we take care of our thinking? How do we take care of our brain? How do we feed ourselves so we have the energy to sustain us? And how do we, more importantly, rest so that our body has that ability to repair itself? So over Distracted, there'll be sort of up to 20-minute clips, but there will be definitely moments where I'll be engrossed in conversation with people, and I'm sure we will go over time. But I want this podcast to be a podcast you can listen to on your way to work, that you can listen to when you're doing things that you want to feel inspired by, that you want to get learnings from, that you want to go, hey, this really applies to me. I can take this on. And if you're also on here for somebody else, have a listen to a couple of episodes and then feel free to share it with them, because we really want the best out of the people in our lives, but we also, more importantly, want the best for them. And for those of you that are listening that might struggle with a busy brain, or you just want to get the best out of your life, you just want really good strategies on, well, how can I focus better at work? How can I not bring work home? How can I bring the best of myself to my family? All of these things, if you've got somebody in your life that you go, they will get a lot of value out of this, please share it. Let us know what you think. And I'd love to know, sometimes the door can open for people and they can go, hey, someone shared this with me. I'd never found you anywhere, but I'm so glad that they did. So sometimes just doing that and sharing it with other people is also a really lovely thing. So I'd like to welcome you here on Distracted. I hope you love this next stage of the podcast. I know I'm so excited. We've got amazing content that is coming up for you. Please, if you haven't subscribe to wherever you listen to all your different podcasts. It's all on there. Just look for Distracted with Angela Lockwood, and I will be more than happy to sort of field any questions that you might have through socials. Please message me. And particularly if there's any other content that I haven't covered that you're like, I would love to know more about that, then please, let me know. And we'll make sure that this becomes a rich space for you to explore different ideas of how you can thrive in the age of distraction. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I'm Angela Lockwood, and let's do this. I'm so excited.